Hi, everybody. This is Carrie Hamblen, the CEO and president of the Las Cruces Green Chamber of Commerce, and we are bringing to you again another installment of Nusenda's financial well-being tips here with our pals at Nusenda Credit Union. And these tips provide you with helpful financial tips on a number of topics, from budgeting and money management to boosting your credit score and what to do with your taxes and so much more. And today we are talking with Ann Swickard. Her title is Fincap Curriculum and Engagement Specialist for Nusenda Credit Union. Hey there, Ann. It is so great to see you.
Great to see you too, Carrie. Thank you so much for having me today.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just loving this series because we've had so many different conversations, and this one is particularly important in both of my capacities, and as the CEO of the Green Chamber, but also as a public servant, as we're talking about financial literacy and whether or not to make it mandatory in the schools and all sorts of stuff. And I think back to like my childhood. I grew up with a single parent and really kind of learned how to borrow from Peter to pay Paul, and that's not necessarily the best thing to do. And really, your area of financial literacy covers a lot of those things. And so, can you explain like what financial literacy means and why it is so important for people to learn?
Yeah, definitely. So financial literacy is really, really important. But I'd also like to say sometimes the term financial literacy can sound intimidating, and like either you have financial literacy or you don't. So instead, I like to look at it as a spectrum that kind of changes throughout our lives.
Mm,
It begins when we're small children and we're watching our families spend money or pay bills, or we find some coins on the sidewalk and we determine what we're going to do with that money. And then it continues on into retirement. So throughout our lives, we have these different decisions that we need to make, different opportunities and different things we need to learn. So I really love the term financial capability. And so, yeah, it's cool. So
yeah.
it's from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and they define it as having the knowledge, the skills, and the access to make sound financial decisions. So what I really love about that, it's not just about knowing, how finances work, but it's that behavior aspect, practicing the skills, which for me is sometimes the most challenging.
Yeah.
I know the right thing to do, but do I always do it? So it's that
Mhm.
action.
Well, and I think of, I'm of the age of writing checks and spelling that out. And I remember learning my mom telling me, you have to spell it out on the second line. And yet I've met some young people today who don't know how to fill out a check. And I'm wondering, is that still relevant?
Yeah, I think that's one of those examples we always have to be learning and evolving. I think for our young people, it's important to be familiar with checks and check writing and that process. But also, we see a lot of banking is completely online now.
Yeah.
So, how do we evolve? And sometimes it can be more secure when we are doing our banking online. So how do we change with the times and the new technology? So definitely.
Yeah. I often wonder, are we ever going to get out of like having to write checks? Because there's some still people who like to go old school and like have that tactile check with the copy, the carbon copy,
Yes.
just to keep your books. And a lot of businesses still kind of use that. A lot of like, your older mom and pop businesses still really kind of follow that a lot. And so, I think, we probably could go on for like an hour when we're talking about financial capabilities, which I will love to use that term because literacy, it does have kind of like this negative connotation because if you're not literate, then you're illiterate. And that's not
Yeah.
really a way to encourage people to like learn more, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there can be so much anxiety around our finances and, oh, maybe I should know something, especially by a certain age. And if I don't know it, it can be demotivating. So I think another component of financial capability is also access is so important Because if I don't have the opportunity to practice these skills or knowledge, if I'm shut out, of certain spaces, then what's the point? So I think we also need to open those doors for people.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think we've got, a limitation on time, but maybe there are some ways, some kind of like your top 3 or 4 ways that we can become more financially capable. And I want to preface this is that, it took me about 5 years to admit to my wife that I wasn't the best, because I grew up with a mother who borrowed from Peter to pay Paul. She was a single mom. She was trying to support 2 kids. But my wife is brilliant at it. And so those are kind of our roles in the house and I'm really grateful for that. But not everybody has that luxury.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
what are some of the things that people that aren't intimidating, that they can become more financially capable?
Okay, so I have a few steps and then some suggestions of where to start. But I just want to say, Carrie, I really love that you said it's okay to admit this is something I don't know or I need to learn about. And that can change over time. We can have that growth mindset that at least this is where I'm starting with financial capability, but I can make changes, and it's like a muscle you can flex, you can work out, and you can get better at it.
Yeah.
So I think a great place to start is identify your goals. So to look at money as a tool. This is a tool to help you get somewhere. I work with a lot of high school dual credit students. So we look at goals. Do they want to go to college? What are their career goals? Do they want a new vehicle? And so how do we start making plans around those goals? So I think that's that first step is, where do you want to see yourself in the future? And money is a tool to help you get to that future state.
Mm-hmm. That gives good language. Yeah, that's good language to use.
And so, and then I think your next step is to identify trusted sources of information. So if you start looking around in your life, you'll notice so many people or organizations or businesses really want to give you financial information. I think lots of people have an opinion, but who are you going to trust? Who's going to protect your best interest? And so I would look at your bank or your credit union, who you're working with. That can be a really great place to start. Even a trusted family member, or, looking at those friends in your life who really are great examples of, how to manage finances. So that can be a great place to start. And also, on a lot of websites, there can be wonderful financial resources. So on our website, we have Bonsai and Balance. And so those are 2 resources that are unbiased. They won't sell you anything. They won't collect your data and sell your information. And you can go there on your own time and do a little bit of homework.
Yeah.
So I think that's your second step. And then your third step, it's really important to make a plan. So, once you know what your goals are, you find a trusted source of information, it's great to make a plan. And you can go into even a branch and meet with a financial consultant, and they can help you with that if you like that one-on-one support.
And that's always rough. That hard part is to admit that maybe you're not the best at managing money, but you want to try, and that's the important thing, because that financial security, and especially, given in New Mexico, we have so many people who are experiencing poverty. And so like the whole idea of saving money is like, in some cases they may think it's not possible, and in some cases it isn't possible. But if you meet with somebody that you trust and somebody who's working in a financial institution, at least there are opportunities there to look and see where that path can be created.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. There was a time in my life, if you told me, oh, you need to save 20% of your income, I would have laughed at you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But it is possible. And small steps add up, small steps become bigger actions.
Yeah. And so when we talk about like saving, 10 or 20% of our pay, those are kind of some of the techniques we can use um, to really kind of help our finances and understand about, financial capabilities, like what I'm capable, obviously what I'm capable of doing with my money that I earn.
Mhm. Yeah, there's one important component of financial capability is learning rules of thumb. So, always saving a percentage of your paycheck, put in a certain percentage, whatever you can do, into savings for emergency. That's an example of a rule of thumb. Or never trying to stay under that 30% credit utilization rate on your credit card. That's another rule of thumb. So learning those rules of thumb and putting them into practice is a great step.
Yeah. And also, my wife is really good about this, is like anything that's charged on the credit card, it gets paid off that month, because then you're
Yes.
not paying, but we recognize the privilege and the good fortune that we have, but not everybody does. And as we're finishing, and this is why I think disclosing this is, how do we get folks more comfortable with asking those difficult questions about budgeting and paying off debt and whether to pay with a credit card or cash? Those are sometimes I think our society has created a stigma that if you don't have financial capabilities and the knowledge about how to navigate that, then people are perceived as less than, and that shouldn't be the case, right? Because everybody
Yeah,
deserves economic prosperity.
definitely. Definitely. And I think we all need an opportunity to learn. And I agree with you. Talking about finances is really hard. Um, First of all, it's not always accepted in our culture, to talk about money. I was taught as a little girl, this is, it's adult conversation, it's private conversation, and it's not a child's business. And then when do you learn how to have those conversations? And also, I think our finances, when we look at our finances, it really feels like a value judgment on us. It's
Right.
so deeply personal. But I think it's really important to know that staff at credit unions and other places, other organizations, we are here to help you. And we've seen it all. And I've been on the receiving end of that help before. So when I was a young teacher, I got a credit card and I spent that
Ooh, yeah.
whole limit. I just spent it and I didn't have a way to repay it. I was a single mom with two little kids, and it just filled me with anxiety thinking about this credit card, and I didn't do anything about the balance for a while.
Yeah.
And I made an appointment at the credit union. I went in and I made a plan with a financial consultant, and I worked that plan, and my credit changed. I addressed that balance that I owed, and I'm better off now, definitely in the future. So I think it's taking that step is hard, but people are there to help and to help you get to a better place.
Well, and you talk about the credit card. I mean, the thing is that high school students get slammed with credit card offers as soon as they get out of high school. And there are some good things about that, and then there's some bad things about that. You and I both had the bad experience because it was like, woo, this is free money. Yeah, I get
Yeah,
to spend things. I don't have to worry about the APR because I don't really know what that is.
exactly.
But then on the other hand, it's like building up your credit so that if you want to make big purchases like a car or a house or something that's significant, you need to establish that you have a history of being able to pay things on time. So it's like understanding what your limits are, what your capabilities are, and what maybe some things that aren't so pleasant are, that you can go, woohoo, I got free money, when you really don't.
Yeah, and that's part of that financial knowledge that's so important, and understanding that game of credit. What are those hidden rules that maybe I'm not aware of right away? How can I use credit as a tool to help me reach those long-term goals? So
Yeah.
it's always coming back to those long-term goals.
I know that you and I could probably talk for a long time about financial capabilities. But I think you and I, our whole goal is to make sure that we destigmatize that and have people not feel ashamed to admit that maybe they don't know the most things that they need to benefit them about managing their money.
Yeah, I have another resource that people might be interested in. It's something that we offer, and it's 100% confidential. So it's Balance Financial Counseling, and it's a 1-800 number or a 1-888 number that people can call, and they can call to talk about housing, how to get housing, a mortgage, or even rent. They can call for money management, and then also for anything having to do with debt or credit. And I just found out today they have a certified CPA on staff if they have questions about retirement, investing. So that's great. So it's all free of charge. And there are financial counselors who are certified, and the housing counselors are certified through HUD. So I could share that phone number if you'd like it.
Yes, please do.
Okay, so it's 1-888-456-2227.
Okay.
And then they're open, they accept calls Monday through Saturday.
Fantastic.
Yeah. It's a great resource.
And that's the thing. I think there are more resources available than when I was a kid. And I like that it's so much more accessible now, to where you can just really kind of not feel ashamed and actually ask the questions because you genuinely want to do better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just taking that first step.
Yeah. Well, Ann Swickard, you are the Fincap Curriculum and Engagement Specialist. It's been such a joy talking with you, and I appreciate the great conversation about financial capabilities and how we can support it in New Mexico. I'm very grateful for your time.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Carrie. It was a blast.
Absolutely. Our series, Nusenda's Financial Well-being Tips, will drop every second Monday of the month. And if you'd like more information on the services provided by Nusenda, you can go to nusenda.org or call our local branch here at 575-523-7750, or go to their office at 1715 East University Avenue. You can also find all of our financial well-being tips at locallascruces.com/Nusenda. Again, thanks, Ann. I will be seeing either you or one of your colleagues again soon. I hope to have you back as well as we continue these monthly financial well-being tips. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Carrie.
All right. You have a great day.
You too. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.